Today, I'm hunting down the rarest Steam achievements in existence, and I'm not talking about the boring ones that aren't actually the rarest, like doing all the Halo campaigns on Legendary. I've done those. Lots of people have. I'm talking about achievements so rare they're stuck at 0% completions. Achievements that haven't been completed in months, if not ever, and I'm going for 3 of them. One from a game that holds the literal rarest achievement on Steam right now, but it will quickly lose that spot. Multiple from a super popular game with 0% achievements that are super easy and you could do just to make your profile cooler. And finally, the true single rarest achievement on the entire platform. And trust me, this one's a real monster. But first, let's start with the rarest achievement of the moment, from a game you probably didn't expect, Zaccaria Pinball. You see, it's a free game, and with every update they add a new pinball table for a few bucks, and each table has its own achievements, and I've been spawn camping this update. Notifications on every platform, refreshing like a maniac, waiting for it to drop. Why? So I can finally answer a question that nobody has been able to. Can your Rarest Achievement Showcase display an achievement percentage lower than 0.01%? See, in global stats, everything ultra rare just shows up as a 0%, but when you own it and go to show it off in your profile, the lowest I've ever seen is 0.01. So with roughly 500,000 people owning this game, I had the chance to be the very first person in the entire world to grab this achievement, making it effectively 0.000002%. Meaning it's far below anything Steam has ever displayed. So yeah, this isn't just rare, this is history. And after achieving 150 points in the Lamplighter mode, I unlocked it. I'm the only person in the entire world with this achievement right now, and I can now definitively confirm Steam does not display anything lower than 0.01 in your achievement showcase despite the real rarity being lower. And now that we've established that, there's tons of games with 0.01% that are way easier and have been at that rarity for a while now. You can see I have some for Widget, but that's going to be a problem currently since it requires a full lobby, making it pretty much unachievable. But some other great examples are Guns of Icarus and many others. Let me know in the comments if you're lucky enough to have one, but one of the easiest options is a game I never thought I would have to download again, Lost Ark. And Lost Ark might have the easiest rare achievements in all of Steam. Don't believe me? You can just sail this tiny little island near the start of the game and hit your print screen key on your keyboard, and boom, you now have a 0.01% achievement for just taking a screenshot on a specific island. Congratulations. You can also sail to a different island and hit some fruit for another one, or participate in PvP matches for some more. There's a ton more, and if you want easy Steam achievements to spice up your profile, here's an option. But now for the monster, the true rarest Steam achievement that has constantly been holding that throne for a few months now, and it totally deserves that spot. I almost gave up on this. And there's tons of rare achievements, and I used a variety of third-party tools to pinpoint the exact one, and I'm not counting the dumb ones intentionally designed to be the rarest achievement, like 5 million headers in this bad soccer game, or I guess football for you non-Americans, or ones that are glitched and can't be achieved anymore, or ones that came out later after the game release, so people stopped playing the game, making them super rare, since as long as you have it in your library, you count towards the statistic. But the single rarest Steam achievement in all of Steam is reaching level 150 on Farmer and Striving for Light. The next closest rarest Steam achievement is beating the Stanley Cup in certain conditions in a hockey spreadsheet simulator. Sorry if that's what you were looking forward to. And what makes this Striving for Light achievement so outstanding is your class options are Mage, Blacksmith, Necromancer, Rogue, and Farmer. And who in their right mind picks Farmer? Me. And that's not the only challenge. What makes this really hard is you have a limited amount of lives, and if you die 3 times without killing a main boss, your character gets deleted. In endgame, everything one-shots, even the common gray mobs. So, let's give this a shot. And Striving for Light is a bullet hell ARPG with a lot of similarities to Path of Exile, except your skill tree is even bigger, infinite in fact. It keeps randomly getting nodes every time you level up, and each time you make a character will have a very different skill tree, adding even more difficulty on top of the fact that you're forced to be playing in a pseudo-hardcore mode. And looking at the leaderboards, I didn't see any farmers past level 150, so I'll be setting history here. In fact, the achievements for reaching level 150 on Dark Wanderer are only 0.01, and only 0.02 for Blacksmith and Mage, so even without my Farmer handicap, this will be quite the feat. And the Farmer specializes in minions, specifically chickens, giving them buffs such as bleed damage, among other things, and so for my first attempt, I went all in. Over 50 minions by the time I fought tooth and nail up to level 100, but the drawback is for each minion you have less mana regen, so I'm unable to attack myself with this many minions. My fate is in their hands while I need to dodge absolutely everything thrown at me, since even one touch from anything is instant death at this point. And that's actually really hard, and after 10 hours of leveling up just shy of 150, my first farmer got eviscerated by the Wakened Suncleaver. And that's just 10 hours gone with the wind that I will never get back, but I learned a lot from my first run. Despite having over 50 minions, it seems like monsters only take 7 instances of damage at one point in time according to the damage pop-ups, meaning that my giant pile of wolves stacked on top of each other, despite there being more than 10, only 7 hit. And so for my second run, I'm taking the fight a little bit more into my hands, limiting my minion supply so I can fight too. As well as I found a bee wand that shoots bees that scales with my minion damage, and this is way better since each projectile shot is just like a pack of wolves hit them, as well as it's upgraded so it shoots birds as well, and the birds shoot my poison stacks, and so the build's finally coming together. But just shy of the level 140 mark, I ran into an absolutely juiced up awakened spider boss and their buddy Art of the Fallen, and I knew I had no hope. These bosses are really RNG heavy. The endgame works similar to Path of Exile with maps and their associated mods, and depending on the rarity, you just have a flat chance of the boss being awakened, with a god shooting random stuff at you while you have to fight it, similar to the Maven in Path of Exile. Except when you beat the awakened boss, you just go headfirst into the Maven fight for phase 2 with no time to recoup, and most of the time with the 10 plus damage modifier mods associated with higher levels, you're forced to go hitless. Which, trust me, I've been going hitless for the greater part of the last 15 hours at this point, but they have more and more HP, and a 5-minute hitless run with frame-perfect dodges don't exactly grow on trees. And you only have a limited amount of lower tier maps that you can run, so going into my third farmer, I knew that I had to have the best early game possible to make sure I could deal enough damage to not drag on fights too long, and that's exactly what happened. You see, my wolves and my bee wand were hitting for around 600 a pop, and by now, at the same point, I was hitting for around 6,000. How'd I get there? Well, besides the really strong early game, I found that by using a melee weapon and getting the cyclic might, you are no longer required to have mana regen, and it only requires attack speed. And although I can't cast spells, all my on-hit effects still go off and still trigger. There's just a tiny little problem. I can't see anything. And after getting my farmer ascended point slotted, I had an on-hit at some of these giant chickens that attack people, but thankfully I found out there is in fact a transparency slider for my attacks. So now I just get to stroll around, happily swinging my sword while everything around me just disappears. And you would think that's GG at this point. This guy's hitting 10 times more than he used to be. It's over. Well, there's just one more problem. There's a lot of things going on, just transparent. And I mean a lot of things. It felt like I was playing super hot, but I was on the enemy team. And instead, I'm just at the whim of these really obese, invisible chickens having an absolute field day with my graphics cards. I'd be having to frame perfect dodge, except 1 second I'm slow, and the next second a chicken despawns, and all of a sudden I'm flying. Not exactly ideal, but it was enough. And after a few more hours, the level 150 was mine, placing me 24th on the leaderboard and the highest level farmer after 22 hours of the most locked-in ARPG experience I've ever had to do. And I've attached some of the third-party sites in the description if you want to check the rarest Steam achievements right now. Just know a lot of them are bugged, like the Iliad MMO. Trust me, I checked, and it would have been in this video if it worked. And if you want to see more stuff like this or more stuff completely different, subscribe and leave a like, and I'll see you in whatever I end up doing next. My work here is done.